Matt with Olympus Reptiles. Guess I'm by myself for a few more minutes here, but I imagine a few people start popping in, and that gives me time to kind of get the camera set here the way I want anyway. So I haven't figured out this auto on thing. So what today is going to all be about is that, hold on, there we go. Hopefully this does a little better than last time lighting wise. Trying something a little bit different. Hey Bob, I don't think I'm a girl, but thanks man. What's up Miles? First thing I want to cover, hey, Just Being Jen chimed in. Everybody take a second since she's here and say happy birthday to Just Being Jen. It is her birthday today and she just did a video about it. Go check out that channel, give her a shout out. Is this one meant for YouTube? Yes, Roadhouse Reptiles. This one is meant for YouTube. I saw Tim Lotman say hi, and I want to say congratulations to you, Tim, on your first clutch. That is awesome. First thing I want to cover. Okay, for anybody that didn't notice yet that that was a joke, I'm fine. That was all April Fool's gag. I know some people really seem to like that. Some people really didn't like that. And, you know, that's cool. I want to cover a little bit about the direction we're going to and why we're doing this video today. First, about a few minutes, and Bobby hit the nail on the head. That's why we're doing this video today. This is a chance for me to go live for a minute. So I know we haven't really been so much about legit snake stuff. Literally, the rattlesnake bath, yeah. But I wanted to say thank you for getting us to 20,000 subs. That is all you guys. I mean, I know how lucky I've been to get there. It's nothing special that we've necessarily done. If people wouldn't watch, we wouldn't be there. And I think that is very awesome. I want to be upfront about my long-term goals for this channel. And my long-term goals are to catch to 100,000. I want to get to 100,000. Kurt and I have talked about it. We really want that play button. So we're going to try to get there. So the more that you can help us do that, the better. Because I really want that. And I try not to spread that too much, but I would, you know what? People actually pay us for those herpes, so that's great. October, and mine's February, I got a long ways to wait. So that's where our goals is to get us to 100,000 subs. I don't know, when we first started, we never imagined getting 1,000, let alone 20,000. Yet, here we are. So we're not ready to quit. We want to keep that going. There's been some dramatic, thank you, tell everybody you know. And Mason R, no, there's not a giveaway here. And here's why there's not going to be necessarily a giveaway here. You probably won't see a lot of giveaways on our main channel. I mean, we may do something when we get to that 100,000. We'd probably do something then. And we'd probably make it pretty epic. It's going to take a long time to get there. But I know a lot of channels do a lot of giveaways. And that's fine. That's their prerogative. They get to do that. It's their channel. They do it how they want. I didn't want our growth to be because we gave stuff away, you know, and that's fine. I wanted our growth because of our passion. We also started a VIP group through Patreon, and I love my Patreon group. I do. That's like one of my babies. I want to see that grow. That's the thing that funds a lot of what we do, and with that Patreon, you know, we do a lot of, don't mind the scratch. One of my dogs wants in hell. I'll probably let him in here in a minute. With that Patreon, we do a lot of specials on there. We're going to be doing more. And we actually give the shirts away that you just mentioned there, David, on Patreon. So, after 6 months, and then we also sell them at shows. We don't sell them here as part of the Patreon. And I'm not trying to make an ad for it, but I want to explain that when we do giveaways, we'll end up doing that stuff on Patreon. And the reason being is because, you know, they pay a fee to be there. And so we're trying to come up with a way to do that through there. As far as give back, I do agree it is good to give back. And the way I try to give back is we do a charity every year. We'll continue to do a charity every year. It's something that I've committed to. Every year we'll take one baby snake, we'll select it, we'll sell it for charity. We've been doing it since we started. And we'll never stop doing that as long as I can prevent it. So that's one way we always do give back. And then, you know, we started this new news show, which we're going to probably be doing, we're thinking twice a month right now. We're still going to do our normal stuff. And so I know that's a lot of people. I saw something about Wichita canceled. Comments coming so fast, I missed most of them. Oh, you live in Wichita? Depending on what you purchase, we can deliver to Wichita, but we're sold out right now. We won't have any babies for a while. They all go to Patreon first, then a show, and then they'll be made available online. So there's kind of a filter system to get them available online. But and then shows we're going to go to as many as we can when we have stock. So there's that. But I wanted to let you guys know that the channel is going to keep doing what it does. We're not going to change who we are or what we're about. And what we're really about is snakes, right? I mean, this is what we're about right here. We're about snakes. We're going to keep doing reptiles. We're going to keep doing reptile-related things. So, well, we ship the shirts. We probably could ship a shirt to the Netherlands through Patreon, but that's the only way we do those shirts. We are going to open a merch store with different shirts. So, and yes, Patreon is the key. It is, definitely. Show me your ball. I just showed you a ball. But we're going to keep doing that. But part of like that news channel is a way to give back to some of the new channels out there, some of the smaller people out there who are trying to come up like we did. And man, I want people to be able to do that because I know we just got kind of lucky. And so I want to give back. So you talk about giving back. This part of what that news channel is about. It's supposed to be kind of funny. So we're going to keep doing that. But we're also going to stick to our roots, which is we're going to show you reptiles. And that's what I scared you with that vid. That was the point, right? And somebody asked about shipping to Canada. We never have shipped to Canada for a ball python. And here's the reason why, guys. I mean, could we? Yes, there's actually a mechanism through that to do that through our shippers. So, yellow blotches, that was because it's an albino. But with that, it's very, very expensive. And so when we go to ship to Canada, you know, and we can't afford to eat that shipping cost all on us. It's just impossible to stay in business if we're paying the shipping. And you'll see people do things, ship price. Let me tell you, they're building in part of that shipping into their price. It's just what they're doing. So we can't afford to eat all that shipping. And going to Canada, what we end up having to do is pay to ship it to one spot in the United States where they take it over the border and then they ship it to its location in Canada. So you end up paying double shipping plus a fee. So you're going to be paying probably well over $100 in shipping. And there's other great breeders in Canada. So, you know, you've got people like Marcus Jane. Man, that dude shit rocks. So I tell people, you know, you got these great people doing wonderful things in Canada. And I can't compete with them price-wise because of a lot of that. So, and get live feeds. Yeah, you do. If you're on Patreon, you do get live feeds. That was part of YouTube pissing me off, and so we started doing live feeds every Saturday on Patreon. So, mites and tapeworms. Tapeworms, you're going to probably have to go to the vet. Mites, I can show you what I use. This in no way is an advertisement. They are not a sponsor or anything. Maybe I can show it to you. Oh, here it is. We like to use this stuff right here. You can pick it up right on Amazon. It's great. It's what I use for mites. You know, and I pre-treat every tub. So when I do a new tub, I treat with this on every tub change just as a preventative measure. So that's what I like. It's relatively, the nice thing is it's safe. You can stick it right on the snake, and that's what I really like. You're not going to say what level I am, but it's been worth it. Thank you, Josette. I really appreciate that. And the Patreon is, like I say, this wasn't meant to be a Patreon ad, but, you know, they didn't. And I didn't know if they would, but they did tag it through the bots. They said we could monetize it, then they said we couldn't for the first 25 to 300 or 3,000 views, and then we said they could. But, you know, YouTube does make us a little bit of money, and which is great, honestly. It helps fund some things, but it doesn't make a lot of money. So, and we don't, okay, I'm going to let him in because the scratching's driving me nuts. So let's say hi to the dog. Hi, dog. Come on in, Jack. That's Captain Jack. I'm just going to let him in here for a while. He'll just be a pain. And so it's more about when they screwed me over on that, what really made me angry was the fact that we took a hit to our growth. You know, we were growing at a lot faster rate. Now it's slowed down a little bit. So yeah, somebody said something about a dwarf caiman. Do we still have it? Yes, we still have the dwarf caiman. And the reason you haven't seen the dwarf caiman is we're planning some construction and planning some big things. We're kind of waiting, and we'll end up doing an entire series on that, hopefully this summer. I haven't talked about it much yet, but because we're not sure exactly how it's going to go. And what I mean is we've kind of started talking to a landscape company to build an indoor pond thing with a bar, you know, and all this kind of cool stuff built into it. So we'll have an eating place down here in our basement where you know you can sit, have a room for a plate, and you're looking into the caiman cage. So that's what we're looking at doing. Yeah, and if you're in Manhattan, hit me up. I mean, you can find me on Facebook. We can show you our animals, show what we got here for sale as well. Self-promotion more than YouTube. Yeah, I mean, you know, YouTube still, like, puts our videos out there for us. Like, and it's this love-hate thing. Because, and the only thing that made me mad is the rules are so ambiguous. That was a problem. And they're still ambiguous. I can never get an answer. As a matter of fact, the answer YouTube gave me on that was, they said that it got age restricted, so it didn't violate any community guidelines, right? Which is exactly what it says. You didn't violate any community guidelines, but we just don't feel it's appropriate for everybody. It's age restricted. Okay, why? Refer to the community guidelines. The hell? You know what I mean? So, it's like, yeah, I don't know. But it is what it is. I do not breed Asian water monitors. I only do ball pythons. We're working on rattlesnakes when the zoo opens. It will be great for having company. The YouTube shooting, no, I did not. And hopefully, you know, they take that down. If somebody shot somebody on YouTube, that would be pretty horrible to leave up. And, you know, and that's what they're trying to do. And I get it. You know, they're trying, I mean, they kind of got beat up a little bit too. They did. And now that damn dog wants out. So, I understand their point of things. See, everybody say, bye, Jack. Bye, Captain Jack. Go on, buddy. There he goes. He's my boy, though. So, yeah. But the main point of me popping in here, honestly, was to tell you all thanks. And since you've been so gracious to subscribe to our channel, push us up to 20,000, if you have questions, I can't read them because they're just, you know, YouTube headquarters. Oh, I did not hear about that. I didn't. I've been at work all day, came home and just did this. That is horrible. Was that a female? Because I heard something about a female on an active shooter thing, injured 4, and then I believe she killed herself. But, no, they don't give any information there. I believe it's Chief the Ripper. That's a good name. So, and somebody just sent something in Spanish. I'm sorry, my Spanish sucks. I think that's Spanish. In La Mano, I know something with hands. That's all I can really get out of that. Sorry. But anyway, if you guys have a question or something you want to see that I can show you, and like I say, right now the dwarf caiman, we're not doing it at all. He's fine. I actually showed him on Patreon just a few weeks ago. But the reason we're not is he needs a new cage, and I just don't want the fallout from it. And like I say, we're working on building this nice, big last cage. It was always about, when we got him, you know, about building up, you know, sizing him up from small cage, medium cage, big cage. And so that's kind of what we're looking. Do you have the snakes in your hand? I don't. I have a pink pin in my hand, but we can always get a snake in our hand. Show all the snakes? Dude, you know how long that'd take? I mean, that's the one rack behind me. And then there's this rack here, you know, and some of those are still new and empty. How's the champagne Blitz coming? That's coming good. You know, I was really hoping today, try this thing in selfie mode, that we would be able to have some eggs. I thought we'd have eggs today. I thought, man, cool, we're going to hit 20,000. I'll do a video, we'll pull some eggs, show them how we do that. But this is the next set of Calico Blitz eggs. And you can see she did not drop them. She is just sitting on them. Grrr! Give me them eggs. So it's coming along really, really good. From Spanish Buddy. Works for me. Probably is right. Like I say, I got monos, you know. But that's about... Do I have any spiders? Yeah, I'll show you my favorite spider. I'm guessing by spiders you mean spider ball pythons. And that right there is my favorite spider. And she is currently ovulating. So, and I know I put the male in anyway. I still kind of do that just to make sure. And with that, that is actually a het snow spider. So, and the male is a het snow. So, yeah, that'd be like a 3-day damn video. And I don't think he even knows what was in there half the time. He's got so much stuff. But and that's not a knock on him for anybody who takes it the wrong way. He obviously has... Show his camera guy Kurt's one-eyed trouser. Jen, I'm going to let you keep that one. Okay? Because, yeah. Getting on the magma project? No. Nah, not right now. Just because I haven't dealt with it enough. I've been so busy. I got a few other things I'm working. And I'm not the guy that's going to run out and jump on every new project. I'm just not. show off some boas. I don't keep any boas here, and I don't. And you got to be very careful keeping boas with your pythons because of IBD. So that's just, you know, one of those things. I always sit back and I wait on a project a little bit before I decide to jump into it, especially on something where some of the things aren't all known for sure that's in it. I have enough of my own things I'm working on, and where my interest really lies isn't, does Kurt handle your balls much every now and then, isn't so much in getting on the latest, newest thing and like, oh, I got the new thing. That's not it for me. What it is for me is making the best example of what I want. It's where it's always been. And that's not, like, say, a knock on what anybody else does. You know, that's just how I do it. So, like, a good example would be, let me find just something that I want to show off. Well, I'll use this little girl here. You know, my holdback pied. You know, and your little brother loves my channel. That is awesome. I only caught about half that. They disappear. That's the problem with these comments. They disappear. But this is about perfection to me in a pied. You know, if I could change anything, I'd put one more white break there. But I love the colors. You know, I love everything about this animal. How it breaks white, it's banded, you know, and all of that. It's one of my favorite things. And I'm going to show you something else about the pieds here in a second, too. Basically, and Steven, I missed that question, so you're going to have to ask it again. Just give me a few minutes, okay, bud? Somebody said it was a really good question. That's all I know. So, let me get this down here, show you something else in these pies that you're seeing going around, which is just a marketing scheme. And I want to let you all know. That's what it really is. But it's about making the highest quality. And you can see the colors on this are very, very orange. They've held that orange. And that's what it's all about for me. You know, this doesn't have yellow belly in it. It doesn't have fire in it. It doesn't have anything but straight pied. So when I go and I start putting the other genes in here I want, I not only will make yellow belly pieds, I'll make the best yellow belly pieds. And I'd rather do that than jump into the newest thing. It's just where it's at for me. And when I get into a new thing, I always think about it for a while. Think about how does it fit into the projects that I want to do, you know? And that's kind of where things go for me. The other thing you keep seeing in the pied world is people like saying, oh, my pied's got a smiley face, and they're calling them like emoticon balls or emoji balls or some crap. Pretty much every pied, you know, you look at this and you wouldn't see one. Watch the magic smiley face. There it is. If you just look in the pattern, it's almost in a ton of them. I've got 2 or 3 that have that. So it's just random thing in the pattern of the pie. It just is what it is. You guys said it's frozen. Hopefully it's back. You'd name it 314. Okay. Oh, I get it now. That one took me a second. As you could tell, math was probably not my strongest subject. What kind of racks do I recommend? Well, of course, you know, we're sponsored by TGR, and that's what you see in the back is all TGR racks. These here right behind me with the weird wood pieces are the first generation. The first generation, we were early adopters, had a few problems with these pieces here. You know, it would get worn and cracking out. And so we kind of talked about that. Then they started making them like this. And this is the second generation. These things are rock solid. They slide nice and easy, and that's with a lot of snake inside. And they close nice and easy. They're escape proof. I love the way the racks work. When am I going to hire? Well, here's the thing. I don't even get, like, we don't make any money doing this, you know. We take all the Patreon money and it goes to invest in our business. That's why you're going to see this whole room change and more stuff. That's what's paying for the new gator enclosure I talked about. You know, we only breed about, we'll probably do 15 to 20 clutches this year. And I'm not really afraid of spiders. Not really, but I mean, they're not my favorite thing, but they don't like, oh, I've been popped by a recluse before, because I think I was. I never really went to the hospital. I just kind of treated it at home and called it good. But that sucks. So, you wait on your new TGR one? Yes. And I hope you like it. And the only complaints I've heard from anybody that's bought from our channel was that it takes a while to get. And it's because they're made to order. And that their business has expanded so much since Eric started doing that. That it just takes a while. It takes us a while too. So, I'm afraid of snakes all the time. How big do I plan on growing? Man, that's a question. And I don't know. You know, I can tell you this. I will never grow like Brian Barczyk sized. I don't want that. And again, that's not a knock on anybody at all. But I don't want to be so large that I'm not connected to my animals. Because I love coming down here and I love playing with my animals. So I don't want to get that big. Then it also depends on, I still have a day job. Like a lot of I work in law enforcement by day. So that's my normal job. I'm putting in a minimum 45 hours a week at work, plus a 40-minute round trip commute. So my normal day is 9 hours and 40 minutes, before I even get home to do my snake work. And then of course we're partnered in a reptile shop. I'm there once a week. Camera guy Kurt's there way more than that because he works the rats there. That's what we do there, to do the rats. I go there for meetings on Wednesday and I take care of all the venomous snakes there. That's what I do. So apart, yes, I'm talking about I own a piece of that. I own 25% and Kurt owns 25%. And we don't take any money out of that shop at all. And honestly, most of the purchases and decisions made there, they're not really mine. And my animals, what I breed here and what's bred there is separate. So because we just do things a little different, and that's okay. It's just a different thing. All my animals from here come serial numbered. They all do, all those kind of things. We have some guarantees, some things we do just different. So they're just a little. So it's connected, and we are apart, but this is also still a separate piece. So, but you've seen us film there and things like that. Somebody, I think I said one of my favorite reptiles. And do I trade pythons often? I could trade, but I don't usually do too much trading. I mean, if I'm at a show and I've got something that somebody wants and they got something that I want, or somebody here locally, would I? Sure, yeah. No, I don't have a problem trading. But a lot of times I will end up selling and then purchasing. And sometimes I've even planned on selling, like I may sell a pied to purchase a pied, and that sounds kind of dumb, but it's to diversify my bloodline eventually. So that's kind of one of those things too, that every now and then you got to bring in new blood. So I may sell some of the same morph to get some of the same morph eventually. But trading is kind of just off and on, like if the right mood strikes me. I mean, I've done it. I think the last thing I traded was a champagne possible calico that I traded for this girl here that I hope is going to give me her first set of eggs this year. This is a snake I absolutely adore, but she is just awesome. And you can see she's big and thick, almost looks like she's got eggs in her. The weird thing is she's still eating very well. So, when you guys are talking about magmas and things like that, parasmela for killer bee, just stay away from other spiders is what I would say. I'll show you a project I'm working with, and I don't know how it's going to come out. Whoa! That bit me. Come on, little toy. Ugh. She's just hungry. She is always hungry. Come on, knock that crap off. Hey, hey, hey. And that's this here. And you can see how dark this snake is. This is a snake of her own production, and it just popped out that dark, and it's held that dark coloration. She's not quite breed size yet. The only genetics we know that are in her are she is double het. She is het for true ghost. I don't see why that would make her this dark, though. So we're really working on that project. It'd be so cool if we would have something that was genetic and hyper-melanistic. I'm not going to say it's going to be, because I do know Ralph Davis, we're going to go really old school guy there. He's had a few of those hatch out and never was able to prove it genetic. So, not going to hold my breath, but would have made April Fool's real. Yeah, I love that snake. Do I have any adult coral glows? I do. I'm trying to remember where I put him. Because you got to remember, we're having pairings right now. He's a little busy. But yeah, he's a small one. So, super defensive. Did you not just see that one try to bite me? It went right after me as soon as I opened the tub. And that's because she eats like I could literally feed that snake every 2 or 3 days, but I don't do that. I want him to grow, so I usually feed her a large meal, maybe 2, like medium rats is the most I've ever done. I give her a week off. That was probably too much. I may do like 2 smalls or a medium and a small in one setting, and then I'll back off. So, yeah. Camera guy Kurt said something and I missed it. Well, welcome, camera guy Kurt. You're supposed to be out on vacation. What the hell's he doing in here? Any clowns? Yes, we have one clown and some het clowns. So we're working on making clowns, but my het clowns, not a damn one of them got to size this year. So what's going to end up happening is we're not going to make any this year, and then next year we should have a whole crap ton of clown stuff. But it'll all be straight clowns. We're going to have to obviously hold back some and start bringing in some more genes. The most expensive snake I have ever owned. Well, probably this guy right here. And I've showed him before. He's pretty defensive too at times. And this is another one that we specifically spent Patreon money for. And that is our Lemon Blast. And you can see how tense he is. This is a sign. When you have a snake that is this tense, if you wave in front of it, it's going to strike. You got to just let it calm down. So they'll tell you how they're feeling. Okay? And it is defensive as all get out right now because its body's stiff. But you can really see the scaleless head. And that is one of them that was quite expensive for us to get into. You know, and again, I don't jump on everything new that comes out. And so we did not jump on the scaleless head right away. You know, we were a little late to that party because I want to sit there and think, is it worth putting my money into, you know, let the market kind of set where it's going to set and go from there. So, best underrated combo, Ghost. Hands down, it's a freaking Ghost, man. You look at Ghost. Oh, speaking of, somebody asked about a mean snake. I'll show you the bitch. That's not the bitch, that's a het Ghost. Here we go. This is the one that was in our calming down an aggressive ball python video. And there she is. And that is just a straight up Ghost. And I think they're very underappreciated. We had to give her a hide, keeps her feeding better. Barely fits in there though. Because when you get that, that's how you got that lesser Ghost I showed you earlier. So Ghost really does a lot of cool things. Infectious that's kind of a weird thing. Can we see the Blitz? Yeah. Which Blitz do you want to see? You want to see my adult male Blitz? Or do you want to see the baby Blitz who was our thumbnail? Why don't we pull out the adult male? Because these Blitzes really do hold their colors really well. And this, I know girly. He is being bred again this year to a few different things. Of course, to the Calico. And then also, we're putting him to Orange Dream. So hopefully we get the Orange Dream to go, even though she went late. I love these Blitzes and what they do. So how do you order from me? Find me when I actually have snakes. Because the problem is, I have been out of snakes for a while. Go in there. Go have fun with your girlfriend. Since about October. But Burms or retics, I personally know. Now at the shop we have them, absolutely. Jack! Enough! I'm just like, let him back in, he'll just want back out. And the reason is space. Like, you know, it's hard when you want to breed animals. If I was breeding retics, I'd have a lot fewer of them. So I kind of got to like pick and choose my battles, you know. So we chose ball pythons because originally I was a boa guy. Who's scratching the door? That's Jack, my dog. And he was just in here, and then he wanted back out, and he wants back in. And if I leave the door open, I'll get the damn cats in here, and it's a pain in the butt. Yeah, out of breath playing with my balls. Everybody should work to touch balls once a day, right? I mean, what's wrong with touching some balls? So, we hopefully will have some more single gene blitzes. We're doing 2 blitz pairings this year, similar to what we did last year. And that will be more of the blitz calicos. And Question Girl really wants in. She's actually on her way home. So we go do the Patreon exclusive part. And on Patreon, I think we're going to go candle some eggs and show you how the eggs are doing. So you'll get to see that. She'll be able to do the camera work there so I have my hands free. All white balls. Yeah, we actually sold a bunch of them last year. I sold 3 bells last year. So, you know, what gene do I think will be the next most popular? You know, God, that's hard to say. Because I think right now what we're getting at in the ball python market, and again, okay, let me let him back in. This is just me, because he's going to drive me up a goddamn wall. Come on, but you got to stay in for a while now. Where do I think we're getting, or the next big popular morph is? I don't know if we're going to hit it the same way we used to. And the reason I say that is because we're hitting this point where I think people are starting to fear brand new morphs coming out. You know, and for good reason. You look at history, and when those guys that jumped in the Banana Project really quick, and then boom, you know, and Red Stripe may take off a little bit, like it'll get more popular, just like I think when we released the Calico Blitzes and the Blitz Champagnes, Blitz got more popular. Blitz has been around a while, and it just wasn't moving. You know, and I could take a Blitz to a table and it's going to sell. You know what I mean? But I think the day of that big earth-shattering changing morph is kind of dying out. It's kind of going away. And that's not to say the market's dead. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. All of you that know me know that. What I think is going to happen in the market now is as we go on, you know, you're going to see scaleless stuff, and you're going to see pretty combinations of that. Go check out what Constriction Addiction did with the Lemon Blast Scaleless. Not Scaleless Head, the actual Scaleless Lemon Blast. Man, that thing's a shit. Like, it's one of the prettiest snakes I've seen. You know, but the big money prices, you know, they're going to come down as well. So that's just kind of how that's going to work. You know, people say Het Red Exanthic was it, you know, and then, but the problem like with Red Stripe, yeah, there's a cool combo with Red Stripe out there now, but how many people actually already have Red Stripe? So they're all going to go put that combo together and make it. And it's going to go boom, and then boom. That's what's going to happen. There's very few morphs that haven't done that, or very few combos that haven't done that. One of them is like the, you know, the highways and the Mardi Gras took a lot longer to come down. And that's just because people don't really like to breed. They're really cool looking, but you can't tell the damn yellow bellies from the gravels. And so it kind of causes you some problems, you know. And yeah, so that's kind of where that would be. And I'll get to that community question in a minute. Don't let me forget, LKB. If you got something really good, don't be afraid to use that super chat to make it stick. Because I know there's been a ton of good stuff that I've missed. But I think the market's going to go away from, oh, look at the new thing I got, and more towards the quality. And you're starting to see that shift in some ways. You know, it used to be, how many genes can I cram into a snake? And, oh, I got 6 genes in this, and this is a 5-gene snake. And they just turn out looking kind of like mud or shit. You know, sometimes. Some of them would look really good, some of them would look, eh. And it kind of got into making that high quality. That's where it kind of goes to. And I think the quality of the animal, the look of the animal, and how it appeals to somebody's eye is going to be more important down the road than being the newest thing. You know, a good example is, you know, you can make like a bumblebee fire, you know, a fire bee that is just mind-blowing beautiful. You throw a yellow belly in it, clean up. If you got a nice line of all of that, it looks really frickin' good, right? But you can also have low expression, crappy quality, and doesn't look as good. You're not going to get as much just because of, well, the genes in there. And I think we're going to start, you know, I've long believed that the market for me, and where I try to keep my mark, is we'll do some really high-end stuff just because, you know, I like the Exanthic. And when you start getting some crazy Exanthic combos, you start getting pretty high-end. You know, that's just the way it works. And I like double recessive stuff because nobody does it. Nobody wants to put the time in. And so you're going to get that too, you know. But I don't think the market's going to be the rat race anymore. I think it's going to be getting the right animal that people want and the right look, the highest quality. And also, I think it's going to come down to getting yourself out there. You know, if you're a new breeder out there now and you're just starting, you know what I mean? And you produce a $25,000 animal for your first clutch, and nobody knows who you are, you're going to have a hard time selling that. And that's not a knock on you. That's not, it's just, think about you. Would you trust a name you've never seen? You know, that you couldn't find any reviews on, you couldn't talk to other people on, you know, you didn't see him here, you didn't see him at a show, to go out and do that. Or when you're making that big of an investment, would you pay a little more to get it from a guy like, you know, Koblika or Brian Barczyk, you know, or, I mean, Ralph Davis, who's been in it forever. You know, I mean, I can name Garrick DeMeyer. I mean, I could go on. You're going to end up going with one of those guys who's been around. So you got to kind of make your name for yourself before you can even start getting into that, I think. Now, being said, I am not the end-all, hold-all business guy. So think of what it's worth. But that's just kind of where I'm. Have you worked with bamboo? I haven't. And the reason is it's a lot like lesser. I mean, it's different. It's more busy, but it's very similar. So I kind of stick to, you know, I don't keep, like, I stick to just lesser right now because I can do what I want to do with it. So I may get bamboo down the road, but it's not on my list of things I want to add. The gene I'm looking to add, and a gene that I believe in, is actually a mahogany. Mahogany by itself is meh, but I like what it can do. I think I can go towards, you know, if you've seen the super mahoganies, the sumas, they're just out of this world. I think if you threw that in with some banana, maybe some banana fire, some of the things that you could get, and that's a gene that if I had to put some on that, I'd say, damn. But again, it's because of what my eye sees. It's not what the dollars I see. I see that mahogany and I say, holy shit, imagine what I could do with this. So that's where that's at. Now, somebody had asked a question, and I forgot what the damn question. I said, don't let me forget. Throw that question back up there. I think it was educational hobbies when it comes to ball pythons. Oh, yeah. That's what I want to be. You know, we started this channel to get our name out there, for one. Just like I said, you know, like, you got to get your name out there. And two, when I started researching this, you know, I found Facebook, and on Facebook, you'd find people who were helpful, but for every helpful person, you'd find 100 assholes, you know? And you'd find that those assholes, most of them didn't have any more experience than I did with ball python. I mean, you have people trying to answer questions that they're not really got that much experience to answer. And they just regurgitate some shit that they read somewhere, and half of it's wrong, and they just ruin the hobby in a lot of ways. So, on hook handling by, yeah, I can show you some hook handling. Well, I don't have anything venomous here. I'm going to throw it on the floor and videotape myself, so I really can't get into that. It's just using a hook. Why is the red's tank tilted? Because I'm going to move it out of there. And it's just the way that table is, where the wheel screws in. But back to where I was getting at on the community. That was one of the reasons why we started the YouTube, is we wanted to journal from being brand new. And if you look early on, I mean, this room didn't look like this. We started filming this when we were brand spanking new. And where do I see the community in 5 years? That was the question. Where do I see it in 5 years? I see it healthy. Hey, we're filming down here. Come say hi if you want or don't, but don't scream. And let Jack out of the room, would you? Question, girls home. Where I see the community in 5 years is, I look at the world, and as the world's going to keep expanding, you know, people live in apartments, it's harder to have pets, people are busier, it's harder to travel with dogs and things like that, and snakes are simple. You know, you get them set up right, they don't care if you hold them that day or not, they're really rewarding, so I do think that that's going to certainly be a more popular pet as time goes on. It's kind of a designer pet, $400 down. Breeding parameters. Help me and let me know what you mean by breeding parameters. Like, I'm a little confused. You don't have to do another super chat. Just let me know what you're asking on breeding parameters, and I'll definitely answer that, Josette. But that's where I guess I see it. I see it growing that way. So, just wants to be better than each other. It's like, yeah, Facebook just sucks. Let's be honest. Facebook's a pile of shit. It is when it comes to reptile stuff. Hey, the Spook, can you recommend a nice large terrarium suitable for a female Burmese python? 8 foot now and growing fast. Man, honest to God, your best bet is building it yourself. And I know that's probably not what you're looking for. And I apologize because you just did an awesome super chat for me and my answer kind of sucks. And without us keeping them, you know, I see what you're talking about, adventures. I'll cover that. But let me finish this question first. It's really hard for me to say. And if you go to buy a terrarium that's the size that you're going to need for that big snake, you're going to pay a crap ton. I know there are some out there, but I think Boaphile makes some and things like that. But you're almost better building. I mean, the materials are there. There's guides on YouTube. You can make it exactly how you want and really kind of knock it out the park. So when it comes to breeding parameters, if the question was about size, I do operate kind of on the safer side as anybody else. Like that one really dark snake I showed you that's just not quite there yet, she's like 1,350 grams. If she was at 1,400, I would go ahead and breed her. I usually wait till 15 for a female. The reason I start early with her is because of the way she pounds food. So I know she'd make it. But I like to let them get to, for my females, rule of thumb is kind of 1,500 grams. I don't care what age. If they're 2 years old, 1,500 grams will rock. And my males, 1 year old, and they need to be about 500 grams. So we're good. What? Huh?
Does it snap at me?
No, the snap wasn't you. The snap was at the camera. Question girl thinks I'm like telling her to do something. So that's kind of where I'm at on my males and females. Now, where that changes, like our pinstripe girl, she wasn't 1,500 when we bred her. She was setting about 1,400, but she was 4.5 years old. So some snakes will stay smaller with age, and if their age is like 4 and they're a little under, I'll go ahead and breed them. And the funny thing is, once I started, she ate like a beast, and now she's over 2,000 grams. So that's kind of where I'm at. Males, males, a year, 1 year old, 500 grams. Here's the thing though, when you work with a small male, is you want to make sure he's eating good and his body condition is good. You know, if his body condition starts to kind of go, pull him out of the breeding program. And I've had to do that before myself to get them back eating good and kind of get that going. So just something to kind of think about. You got to make sure that they're going to be healthy. So you got to kind of keep your eye on that. But at least about 500 grams. Another thing you do is just check him. Take a male, pop it, see if he's producing sperm plugs. If he's producing sperm plugs, see if we can get one to do it. This is an adult mystic who we're not breeding this year, so it won't be a waste. And adult males are a little bit harder to pop, but we'll give it a shot on here. Hey, Boxing Boa made it. Boxing Boa is a pretty awesome dude when it comes to carpet pythons. He's going to try to run off on me. So, but that's kind of, what does it say? What do you do with those ball pythons? 800 grams up is fine. You can go smaller. I mean, I do all the time. But see the sperm plugs there? That's what you look for. When those are there, he's ready to go. So that can also preclude weight. Also, if you ever pop one that you thought was a girl and those come out, it's a dude. That won't breed any solution to that. Part of that could be a female. Honest to God, if the female's not putting out the pheromones, and 400 grams is still a little on the small side. So I'd probably be really hesitant to go with the 400 gram male, even though he's producing. Dylan Smith, there's a good answer for the size for that berm. And if it's a berm, I'd go bigger than that because it's going to grow, right? I'm a little weirded out and turned on at the same time. Dude, I do what I can. So, back to that 400 gram male. I probably wouldn't breed that. I'd let him get a little bit bigger first. Now, if he's producing plugs, he has the ability. Some of the tricks you can do, as long as he's eating good, and you still want to use him if he's eating good, and that's okay. Just assume it's gender. No, somebody asked about a gender. So what I would do then is I'd take a shed from another big male, toss it in there. The other thing I've done is I popped the males like you saw me do, take those sperm plugs, wipe it on the back of the female that I want to breed, and then put the male in there and let it go that way. So you can do that. You can also combat males. But be careful. When I say combat males, what I do is I put 2 males in with 1 female. Both males I intend to breed, okay? And I want my weaker female, or my weaker male, the one who's not breeding, in with the female I want him to breed. I put the other male in there. I close it for about 5 or 10 minutes, and I open it up, and I pull my stronger male up, my loser, put him the female I want him to breed, leave my young male in with that female, and a lot of times that exposure to another male will cause breeding. You know, you don't want to leave them in there for a long time because what will end up happening is they'll start fighting, and the loser can't get away, and they can actually hurt each other. Snake porn. Yeah, you know, we actually did a snake porn video. It's a bunch of lockups kind of showing what it looks like. It didn't go that well. So there's that. But, yeah, you know, I used to get to go to schools a lot. I'd go to high schools and do genetic classes where we talk about, you know, how recessive genetics work and incomplete dominant and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, we could show it. And it's much easier to look at a snake's genetics and see what's in there than it is to talk about eyes and humans. So they enjoyed that a lot more. We would do that at the local high schools. But with my new work schedule, because I'm a cop and I'm in the court system, so it's Monday through Friday, I work all the school days. I just really can't do it. But we are about to go to, we're trying to set up to go to Manhattan's Flint Hills Discovery Center and talk about native venomous of Kansas. So that's coming. You just got to come in and tell me, dear. She's trying to, like, tell me something, you know? I don't know what the hell she's saying. Maybe I shouldn't tell it something. Maybe I should tell people I'm a police officer. Maybe that was the question. I don't know. I'm not embarrassed by that. That's what I do for a living. I've been doing for forever. Like, since I was 21. So it doesn't bother me to share that about myself. It's pretty cool, actually. I'm proud of what I do. You know, and I know not everybody's going to like cops, but I'm still very proud of what I do. My cheapest fancy ball python, they're all fancy. You know, it probably pastels, probably the cheapest in spiders. So, yeah, you know, ultramel combos. Ultramels are cool. They really are. And Question Girl's favorite gene is definitely the pied. So, how stressed to be a cop? You know what? It ain't that bad now. I mean, courts is a pretty nice place to work. I do have to arrest a lot of people because, you know, it's my job, and the judge says that dude goes to jail, then that dude has to go to jail. It's kind of the way it works. But I've been on patrol. I've worked in schools. I've done about everything. It's a job where some days are, you know, very low stress. I mean, there are days on patrol that were like stress free. There's days in the court that are stress free, and then other days are about as stressful as it can come. You know, where you have situations going on that just don't happen in most places or most people's lives that you have to deal with. I mean, if you think of an extremely stressful event where the cops might be at, it may happen in one person's life a couple times. Well, it happens in ours on a daily basis. Or not daily, I don't want to like overplay it. But yeah. Oklahoma City, I haven't, but they're on my list. If I had animals, I would certainly go there. One thing, too, I believe in as a cop is that, you know, it's, you don't have good and bad people, okay? I don't believe that, well, I shouldn't say that. There are some people that just fall on the bad side. There are. Very few. Like 1 in a million. You know, I mean, your Adolf Hitlers of the world, they fall on the bad side, okay? But for the most part, you don't have good and bad people. What you have is just people. And people in certain situations, you know, may make a poor decision. Or you know, they may do something that's not the best thing. But haven't we all made a poor decision? I mean, I've screwed crap up. And so I'm not going to sit there and take a person, even if I'm arresting them or whatever it may be, and judge them as you know, they're stuck in this category. I wouldn't do that. And the reason I wouldn't do that is because, you know, if my life went just a little different, I could have very well been in their shoes. I know that. You know, fortunately for me, it didn't. But I can relate to those people. You know, I can relate to people who are addicted to things. I mean, I get it. You know, I have addicts in my family, so I don't sit there and judge those folks. And it doesn't mean I condone the decisions they make. You know, but my goal for them isn't that they go to prison forever. You know, my goal for them is that they get over that they find a way to overcome that. And it's a very, very difficult thing. You know, everybody says, "Oh, just stop doing drugs." Like, you know, you have the opioid crisis. "Oh, just stop doing opioids, man. Stop doing methamphetamine." You know, well, shit. Don't you think if it was super easy, they would? I mean, don't you think most of them who are addicted don't want to do that anymore? It's hard. It's hard, and I get that. So my goal is not to prison years. My goal is I want to see people do well, and that isn't always going to be the case. But that's my goal as a cop. Is I want to leave the world a little better place than I found it. So, watch my profanity. No. I mean, I'm me. I'm just me. So I'm going to say some swear words. It's who I am. That's just the way it is. And I'm not going to be somebody I'm not. I'm just not. So I think most people on here, you know, I don't drop the F-bomb every 30 seconds. But I'm not going to change who I am. You know, there's a lot of people on YouTube who have said, I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I need to change this, or I need to change that. And then I wouldn't be me. So I'm not going to watch my mouth. I'm still going to say shit, damn, piss, and hell. It's just going to happen. And yes, I am still in the police department. So home now, and we'll beat him if he does answer. I missed that. Whatever it was, I'm not supposed to answer. So, alright guys, we got just about 10 more minutes, and I wanted to kind of do an hour on here today to say thanks for that 20,000 subscribers. It means the world to me. And, you know, and so I know that, like, we got off topic on the cop thing, but, lose how you feel. Yeah, you can. You can lose how you feel along the way. There's a lot of books out there about that, and there's a lot of things you kind of got to do. And you got to really just always kind of keep yourself in check, you know, because you can't get that mentality of it's, you know, cops and everybody else. So that's, yeah. And Dad be watching the cop. It's going so quick, I miss a lot of these. And somebody I know has asked to see Zeus about 4 times, and while I would never miss a chance to show Zeus. Let me go over here, grab him up. Ugh. And let me know, is the lighting better on this live than it was in the last one? Can you live with me if you pay your rent? camera guy Kurt used to live here and paid rent. Actually, that would take up my office, and Question Girl would kill me. So there he is. This is my boy Zeus. He's a little dark looking right now, but it happens. So, yeah, make that 5. Not sure. Living the dream, I really am. And somebody also asked earlier why I got into breeding, you know, and I didn't answer that. I remember the question. I remember I wanted to get to it. So, yeah, he's not living with me anymore, is he, Jim? He's now living with Jen. You know, what got me into breeding was a couple things. Like a perfect spinning tornado kind of happened. And I just pulled that lemon blast scale set out earlier. That was a zebra bee, which is an axanthic pastel spider. Everything I do is SK line. Was I got divorced, so you know I've been married for like 8 years, and then yeah, and I won't get into the whys of the divorce or anything like that because this just isn't the forum for that. But I ended up divorced, so my whole life kind of spun and changed pretty quick, and it wasn't something I was expecting to happen. You know, so here I was. And I'd had a snake forever, and I'd got rid of the snake because me and my ex-wife were trying to have a child. She didn't want the boa constrictor there, and I kind of acquiesced, and then I had a chameleon, and now I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to get a snake again. Oh, pardon, there was an F-bomb. I do try to avoid those. And so I got a snake, and I got my carpet python, who you can see in the background there, my jungle jack. And he was awesome. And then I started doing a bunch more research because, you know, I was really behind. And Who Sells Reptiles? TGR Rack Systems. We have a link in a lot of our videos to them. And so I started doing a lot of research. I started coming across all these new ball pythons that were out. And like that was like nothing I'd ever seen when I was into it. So when I first got my snake, there was like ball pythons, albinos, and you could pay a crap ton of money for a pied. And that was kind of it. And I saw axanthics. I was like, whoa. And I saw a zebra bee. I was like, whoa. And I saw a killer zebra bee. I was like, holy shit. My mind was literally... So I wanted an axanthic really, really bad. At the time, the killer bee axanthics were over 10,000, so that wasn't happening. I ended up getting my axanthic male and just, you know, go on from there. And then it turned into, well, I want that zebra bee, so why don't I just breed it? Screw it, I'm just going to breed it. So I started buying a few things, and it just kind of grew and grew. And then as I really started to get into it, I thought, you know what, I can do this. And it kind of happened at the same time. I got this little piece of paper from the PD, or from my retirement, saying, hey, guess what, you vested. And it kind of hit me that, holy crap, I got a plan for the next chapter of my life, right? And what am I going to do? Like, and I thought, yeah, I can go sell cars. You know, I can talk about anybody. I mean, that's my strong suit. I can do this, I can do that. And I thought, do I really want to do that? Or do I want to do something for me? And I really love these reptiles. I wonder if keeping these reptiles, I can make it go at. I already had a bunch. Scaleless SK, we're going to do it. And so then... here I go. And I'm 6 years away right now from counting 25 years, which is my goal. So, yeah. Do I own any Corvettes? I do, actually. I'm kind of a car fanatic. I like my vets, you know, so I got 2 of them. I got a 74 I bought when I was 19 that I've built, and I had a 99 that caught on fire because of a pack rat. Pack rats. And so I replaced it with an 06. So, but, yeah, that's what got me into breeding. And you know, I wanted to work for myself, and then you know we were sitting around drinking beer one night and playing cards, and my neighbor had gotten into it because he saw how much I was passionate about it, and Kurt got interested in it. Kurt bought his first few snakes, and then he bought a few more, and we decided just to combine and become one. He's been my best friend since he's actually my ex-wife's cousin. But he's my best friend, so screw it. And I got one good thing out of that marriage, right? I got my best friend. So anyway, it just kind of grew, and it's where it is now. So, talk Sobek. We were talking Sobek earlier. We're going to do a whole thing on Sobek here very, very soon with the whole build and everything. It's going to be cool. Like, I can't wait. Yeah, Cusco quitting Facebook, right? Whatever, dude. Come on now. We all know better. That guy spends a lot of time, or not Facebook, quitting YouTube. That dude spends a lot of time editing some of the best edited videos on YouTube. And I'm not talking reptile category. I'm seriously saying some of the best edited videos on YouTube. So, yeah, there it is. No, if somebody said talking about feeding a wild-caught mouse, don't do that. Just because of what they said. Somebody answer that for me if you missed it. If somebody's asking about that, you don't want to feed anything wild-caught. You don't know if it's been eating pesticides or whatever. Just, you know, people, when you own snakes, will be like, oh, I'll catch you some mice and rats. No, that's okay. Let's not do that. You know, it'd be kind of a horrible thing to do. So, Yeah, they are amazing. I'm a fan. Breed your own rats. That's certainly the best way to do it. Hook tips, please. You don't got to show just hook tips. You know, hook tips are just use your hook. Like, I don't know what... I mean, I guess for me, when I use a hook on a rattlesnake, and I keep my hooks where I can see them. They're right there, hang on the wall. I don't use them very often for ball pythons. Sometimes I get them off eggs. That's not because I'm afraid of being bit. I don't want the snake to bite me and break teeth in my hand, because it needs them damn teeth. I need to get it back on food, right? So I don't want it to do that. But what I usually do with a hook is I get the snake, especially like a rattlesnake, I get that viper kind of trying to go away from me and crawling through the hook. I can a lot of times lift it up when it's about a third to half the way through the body, and it'll stay there. If it doesn't want to do that, I'll lift the back half up, grab the tail, slide the front half down, kind of like you got it here, you pick it up, you grab it, you slide it down, keeping that head low, and then the hook, not just the head, the front third of the body, and the tail here, so I can kind of control it and manipulate it. That's kind of how I work a hook. But I wouldn't say to listen to me on YouTube and then go start hooking snakes, like rattlesnakes, and tailing them. Definitely work with some non-venomous stuff, get a feel for it. Find somebody in your area that keeps something like that. Let them work with you a little bit and show you. You know, I'm currently doing that with somebody who's not super comfortable with vipers, with a little bit of experience, and they're actually helping me with my lapid game. So, you know, it's a good way to do that. So, no, I won't be into magma yet. And yes, I do plan on breeding the GTP eventually. Eventually. Yeah, I'm about to go do the dinner thing myself here in a few minutes. And Josette is a nice person. You know, I'll tell you what, too, she started her own channel. Definitely check that channel out as well. And I'm not trying to make this a shout-out thing, but Josette has been a huge supporter of ours. Like, massive supporter of ours. Not just ours. I know she supports a lot of other people on here as well. And she's doing a lot of cool stuff. Plus, you can actually look her up on the Internet Movie Database. Go check it out. I'm serious. She's on there. She's actually been in movies and shit. It's pretty cool. Happy late Easter. I had a great Easter. I hope you all did too. I love that it was on April Fool's Day. Xanthic and everything. I agree. You know, I agree. Especially things at lighting. I mean, I guess for me, the perfect snake would be something like probably a super pastel fire yellow belly Xanthic. Spider. Super pastel fire, spider, yellow belly Xanthic. Maybe throw a lesser in there too, I don't know. But I probably won't get into leopard geckos just because I love the snakes. They take up all my time. So I'll probably stick to snakes, pythons. So the reason being is, again, the inclusion body disease, the IBD. I don't want to keep both in the same facility. And if you do have a boa, it's best to keep it in the room and treat it like it's always in quarantine, because you don't want IBD spread to your ball pythons. That'll kill them. Just kill them. So make it like a quarantine, and that's kind of the best way to do it. Yeah, it was fun having April Fool's and Easter on the same day, though. It really was. So hey, look, something to you, Josette. Yes, it's awesome. My job is complete, right? As long as you got one and Jen got one, then I did something today. Cornerstones of the ball python community, pastel. You know, pastel and lesser are two of my favorite cornerstones, and everybody kind of treats pastel as this throwaway snake now, right? It is the pastel. They're almost like a normal. When you make a nice pastel, you know, it can improve almost everything except for banana. I do not like pastel with banana. That's just me. You know, to each their own. I like to darken my bananas, not lighten them up. But I like pastel. I think it makes things just so much better, you know. That's just it. And you can do the false water cobra, but you got to be careful. They can still pop you. If they can get a fang in you, it can actually be not life-threatening, but it can be a crappy experience. So that's just... And I probably won't ever get one just to scare people, but we might end up with one at some point. Mice to rats. You know, people talk about this imprinting thing, and ball python can imprint, but it's not nearly as common as people make it sound. We go back and forth from mice to rats to African soft furs frequently. I feed the snake what the snake is going to eat best, what the snake wants to eat from me. What I tend to find is if it quits eating rats, I go to something else that'll eat that. And then I'll keep it on that for a while, then I'll just try a rat. No, it didn't eat it, we'll go back to what it was eating for 3 or 4 weeks and try something else. And usually they eventually switch. So, yeah, she's actually, funny story, that damn black pastel. This is the last story, guys, and I gotta go out of here. What she did to me that day is I opened up her tub, and she's gravid right now, and she's making this whistling noise. And I was like, son of a bitch, respiratory infection. I never get respiratory infections. And it sounded like one starting, which typically would be you just push the heat up, when it's early on, kind of cook that out if you can, put them on paper towels. Well, I didn't want to do that bare tub paper towels with the heat cranked up because she's going to lay eggs sometime. I didn't want to cook the eggs. So it's kind of like this, crap. So I cleaned out everything, gave her all new litter, so it was dry. I didn't moisten the litter, didn't do any of that, because it's my Reptile Prime. And I cleaned her out. I even noticed a little bit of a bubble blow out of her nose, right? I'm like, crap. So I got that all cleaned off, disinfected everything, put her back in there. Come to find out what she'd been doing in the old tub when I got to looking and watching her some more, she didn't have any respiratory. She'd been kind of moving things around, nesting, and she'd gotten some wet litter in her nose, and that's what that was causing. And she's perfectly fine, and I'm going to have to throw away all that litter again when she lays eggs. So, yeah. But the good news is she's okay, because I was kind of concerned. So I'm like, well, I was going to have to do my best till the eggs come, and then I could heat her, and then, of course, she's going to be weak because of laying eggs, and it was kind of this... But it was past the point where I could have aborted that, because I wouldn't breed her if she'd have had that. But she's fine. She didn't have anything. She looks really good. I can't wait for her to drop some eggs for me. Crabs with the boys, man. Yeah, I'm glad she's okay too, because she made some awesome babies last year. I love the black pastel bananas she's throwing, and I have some amazing plans for her that I want to try. So I'm really looking forward to that. All right, guys, we did a minute and 1 second just to say, an hour and a minute. And you know how hard it is just to talk for an hour? That's what this was. This was a question and answer live. You could ask me anything. That's what we were doing. And we'll do more. I want to keep doing this and show a lot more stuff while we do it. But right now, I'm going to say goodbye to those of you on Patreon. We're going to go candle some eggs. So stick here. You'll see a Patreon post pop up. And then we can look inside some babies, see the little babies crawling around, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of our YouTube, helping us grow and following our journey. It really does mean the world to me. All right. Goodbye now.